student at York University. George has been jointly funded by the Doncaster Civic Trust and York University to design an exhibition on the life and work of James Paine, and it's on display in the dining room. And George, would you like now to come and speak to us about your work, please? George.
Good afternoon. So yes, my name is George Norton and I represent the studentship between Doncaster Mansion House and the University of York, where I'm currently studying a Master's in Architectural History and Theory. Over the past 6 months, I've been working closely with the friends alongside my studies to bring to life this exhibition, and I'm now beginning to plan a website that will expand upon the information presented here. It is our ultimate aim to provoke a new wave of attention and scholarship into the works of James Paine and his contemporaries. The celebrations this year mark the 300th anniversary of Paine's birth in 1717. This presents an exciting landmark opportunity to draw attention to and explore the work of a man who was instrumental in shaping the architectural landscape of our country. The exhibition itself is at the core of this. As a mobile and accessible display, it can be moved after its stay at Doncaster Mansion House to other sites, expanding and maintaining the momentum begun here today. We aim to highlight the importance of Paine and his contributions to the architectural landscape of England. The exhibition content is geared towards this, focusing on pivotal works of his career, including Doncaster Mansion House, Chatsworth Hall, New Wardour Castle, and many others, as we highlight and trace his impact. There is certainly something romantic about Paine's life. From humble beginnings in the market town of Andover in Hampshire and the son of a carpenter, he travelled to London at only the age of 18 to train at St Martin's Lane Academy amongst such prominent figures as William Hogarth, before taking on his first notable commission at Nostell Priory. There it is. So at the age of just 19, he oversaw the completion of the main house and designed the interior. As such, Nostell was an important work to feature in the exhibition as a benchmark of comparison. I think you can really see not only how far his abilities progressed over his career, but also the sheer skill that he possessed right from the outset. Using Nostell as his stepping stone, Paine developed into a prominent figure, very much in fashion as an architect in the mid-18th century. As such, an important image in the exhibition is the magnificent staircase at New Wardour Castle. A true masterpiece, designed at the height of his career, we were keen to highlight the staircase as much as possible in the exhibition, and were lucky enough to acquire the use of a personal presentation drawing of it from the V&A, which is a real work of art in itself, and I would really encourage you to go and have a look at the image on the exhibition out in the dining room. It was decided to divide the exhibition into 5 sections to highlight each element of Paine's designs, which included exteriors, interiors, estate buildings, drawings, and finally an introduction to the man himself. In this sense, the elements of his designs are systematically organised and can be directly compared to one another over the course of his career. Acquiring images and information for the exhibition panels has been a fascinating journey, speaking to owners, caretakers, volunteers, archives, museums from all over the country. And although he lived in London for most of his career, his works have spread the length and breadth of England. We felt it was important to include his city buildings in the exhibition, highlighting his versatility as an architect and ability to cater to his patrons' location and budget. A fine example of such a structure is in Pontefract. Here it is. No? No, it's not. Hey! Where he briefly lived between 1745 and 46, making a fine and permanent imprint on the architecture there. Unfortunately, many of his buildings in London have since been demolished or largely refurbished, including Middlesex Hospital, which was, in its day, absolutely magnificent. Indeed, Paine's work often exuded grandeur, which works very well in capturing the imagination of the public. It portrays a lifestyle and the social dramas of the 18th century. It was very important then that these elements of his buildings were included in the exhibition. To me, it created the feeling that no space was truly private, as wealthy families sought to outdo each other with their new structures, especially when designed by none other than the notable James Paine. Nowhere is this more evident than in the Temple of Diana at Weston Park, seen here, as a multi-purpose garden building with attached rooms for music and tea. It functioned both as a beautiful sanctuary for the owner and as a place to impress guests, perched on top of a 1,000-acre estate landscaped by Capability Brown. Something that could not be visually expressed in the exhibition, but was equally important to include, was Paine's influence on the architect's profession. He was the first, alongside his contemporary Robert Taylor, to invite trainee pupils into his offices, beginning a practice of architectural education that still exists today. From this period, we can date the real existence of an architectural profession in which young men were trained. Prior to this, architects either progressed from one trade or entered the profession through a combination of circumstance and enthusiasm, often later in life. So as a figure crying out for more scholarship, Paine presents bountiful opportunities. This is reiterated by two fascinating and definitely understudied publications written by Paine himself in 2 volumes. Plans, elevations and sections of noblemen and gentlemen's houses. Rolls off the tongue. Subscribed to by the King and Queen, his first volume came in the wake of his early successes here at the Mansion House in 1751, and the second very much towards the end of his career in 1783. These volumes included plates of his work accompanied by explanatory text that offer a rare insight into the mind of the architect as he discusses architectural processes and the way he worked with patrons. These documents present an exciting opportunity for research, and I hope this exhibition and the celebrations of Paine's life and works here today will encourage such a study. New scholarship and inquiry into Paine is especially welcome given the mystery that surrounds his final years. His death in 1789, at the age of 72, did not take place in England, but in France, where he retired to live out the last of his life. It's odd to choose France during its revolution to seek a peaceful retirement. And the site of his grave is regrettably unknown. To conclude, there is an exciting notion of discovery with Paine and his works. As we can certainly attribute 104 projects to his name throughout England, many more may lie hidden waiting to be discovered. From the grounding of the exhibition here, it is our aim to promote James Paine as a significant figure in the scholarship of Georgian architecture over the coming years and inspire a new era of discussion. It is therefore an appropriate time for us to contemplate the existing work on his illustrious career and to investigate, explore and discover new and exciting lines of inquiry into a man who shaped our architectural landscape. Thank you very much. Any questions? Splendid.
Thank you, George, very much. Our next speaker, and this will be the last speaker before we have a break for refreshments, is Helen Hutchinson.